Hello there. My name is Toby Jennings and welcome to my very first YouTube video. I think a good place to start would be to explain a little bit about who I am. I'm a teacher and school leader and I've been working in schools in Australia for over 10 years. I've just finished my Masters of Education in Educational Leadership and I was looking for the next project, I suppose, to um, propel me forward and motivate me to do some different things. So I've decided to start this YouTube channel. A little bit of what I'm going to do here is to do with education, probably to do with leadership, and just some different things in regards to innovation, productivity, creativity, 21st century skills, just some of those sorts of things. The reason I started this channel was to really give myself some motivation to keep up with different things in regards to research, in regards to different books. So whenever I find something interesting, my plan is to share it on here, probably more than anything as a way of keeping a record for myself. I don't really think this is going to turn into something that lots of people enjoy, but who knows? I suppose the particular reason I chose a YouTube channel is on top of a place to document different things, it's a way to build some really useful skills, I think, in regards to video editing, using Canva, using Procreate, hopefully to animate some different things and illustrate some different things. The goal of this first video is to explain a little bit about my story, really how I got into education, and I suppose how I formed my philosophies around teaching, learning, schools, and then more recently around leadership and education. So I was about 20 by the time I decided to do a teaching degree. I tried a few other things first. I'd done a bit of a law degree. I had worked in a few different businesses. And if I'm perfectly honest, I can't actually remember how I decided to do teaching. I did the degree without a particular passion for it, I would say. I finished my degree somewhere around the age of 23 and made probably the best decision I ever made, which was to not go straight into teaching. I went and traveled for a few years, worked in Canada with some friends in a ski resort, did some backpacking, and actually found, quite by surprise or quite by accident, that teaching was a really good job to have while doing those things. I could come back to Australia with next to no money, and I would always have work as a relief teacher in a couple of schools that knew me. And it was a really good way of, I guess, dipping my toe in the water of school and sort of slowly building up some skills, particularly around sort of thinking on my feet and presenting in front of a class without a whole sort of lesson planned out, um, and interspersed with 6 months of travel. And a couple of really important things happened in that time that impacted who I would end up becoming as a teacher. The first of those two things was that I discovered Ken Robinson. Like a lot of people, I saw his TED talk and then really went on a little bit of a deep dive, read his book and just some different things. And he, I suppose, cast a light for me on some of the problems and challenges that exist within the education system. The idea of a production line, sort of structure of school, that was just creating sort of office workers, and this idea that we're sort of trapped in this society trap of going to school, having children, having some kind of passionless career, and then just repeating that process again and again and again. A couple of good videos by Alan Watts and Joe Rogan as well, sort of thrown in that mix. Um, that really led me to the conclusion that I wanted to find a solution to this problem, or at least that I didn't want to exist and perpetuate the problem within the education system. The second thing that happened was that I stumbled across a school in Bali called the Green School, and I spent a little bit of time there, sort of just seeing what they were doing and unpacking a little bit of how they did things differently. This is important because it showed me that it is possible for these things to happen in schools in a way that fosters individuality and creativity and all of these different 21st century transferable skills while pushing someone towards the idea of finding their passion and creating a life with meaning. So, while at this point in time I didn't think that it was possible to do this in a large education system or um, public education system, I suppose, I knew that it was possible in schools with a few small changes. And then on one of my stints back in Australia, working in a school that I already had a connection with, they had a change in principle. And this was really, I suppose, the second turning point in my career as a teacher because she agreed with me. She saw things the way I saw them and was, yeah, I suppose, trying to make those changes and make those ideals and principles live within a school. And so that really set me on the path that I'm on now. I'm still working in that school. That principal has moved on to bigger and better things. And I'm at a point where I am trying to make those things happen. It's difficult, it's messy. I'm not always hopeful that it will be achieved. But I think the best way, really, to make change is if you can make change within a system that's going to have a much larger footprint. Yes, it would be great to go and start a school, and lots of teachers, I'm sure, fantasize about that and what that might look like and what they would do. Uh, it's a little bit of an unrealistic dream in a lot of cases. And like I said, I think the best solution is one that can be transferred to a broader system. But in regards to this YouTube channel, there's going to be three focuses. The first of those is going to be about education and the things that I'm interested in. Those include transferable skills, 21st century skills, soft skills, there's lots of different names for them. Uh, I suppose in relation to project-based learning. And in regards to education, that's really the niche that I'm quite interested in and passionate about. I think as well it would be worth exploring some different theories in regards to learning strategies and how people learn best. So there might be some tips and hacks and different things that could be applied to other people's lives. And then potentially as well diving into unpacking different areas of research and education. The second area is innovation, and this area is a little bit vague at the moment and something I plan to flesh out a little bit more over time. Could include things like productivity, time management. It'll probably include different book reviews and summaries of different things that I've found useful, but not necessarily related directly to education. And then the third area is leadership. This is, I guess, my newest area of interest as I've moved into a leadership role in schools, and is for me the area that I need to do the most learning in. So it will probably be a little bit of a focus on this channel. I'll be looking at different like areas of leadership theory, different scenarios and stories and strategies that I'm implementing in my work, and as well some different examples of research or books, summaries and reviews that I've found useful as well. So thank you if you've made it this far through this video. Let me know if you have any feedback. Remember, this is mostly just about me learning how to use some of these different video editing tools and getting comfortable talking into a microphone and making YouTube videos. If you've got any ideas for videos that you think would be worthwhile making or exploring, something you might be interested in seeing, feel free to drop a comment. And if you are interested in any of the topics that I've discussed, or would like to see a new YouTube channel develop and see some of the different things as I learn how to use them, please consider subscribing.